Tragedy has struck the Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, with 2 people killed while sailing along the east coast of Australia.
The Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, renowned for its challenging conditions and fierce competition, attracts sailors from around the world each year. In December 2024, like every year, experienced sailors come together to compete in this grueling race. However, for 2 sailors, Quaden and Nick Smith, this race would take a tragic turn. During the course of the event, both men were involved in separate incidents that would deeply affect the sailing community and leave a lasting impact on those who witnessed it. The conditions on the day of the race, December 26, 2024, were far from ideal. Strong winds reaching up to 35 knots and rough seas made for a challenging start, testing the skill and endurance of even the most experienced sailors. Waves as high as 4 meters crashed against the boats, and the gusts made sail control increasingly difficult. For Quaden, an experienced sailor from Western Australia, the race on that fateful day would prove to be his most dangerous challenge yet. Roy was living his dream, chasing the thrill of the open ocean as part of the Flying Fish Arctos crew. At 55, he was no stranger to the risks of sailing, but the unpredictable fury of the ocean would soon turn his passion into tragedy. The Flying Fish Arctos was battling through rough waters. Around 11:30 p.m. local time, the wind howled and the waves relentlessly battered the boat. Every crew member was focused on managing the perilous conditions. Amid the chaos, the yacht's boom, a massive, unforgiving steel arm, swung violently with the wind, striking Roy with devastating force. They contacted emergency services for assistance, but by the time help arrived, the situation had already taken a tragic turn. This is what Superintendent Joseph McNulty said. Just before midnight last night, the Australian Maritime Safety Authority received the first mayday call from a vessel Flying Fish Arctos, who requested urgent assistance as one of the crew members had been struck in the back of the head by a boom. The boom was moving violently through the night in challenging sea conditions, and the crew member suffered a significant head injury. Despite their tireless attempts, Roy's life slipped away, leaving his crew in shock and mourning. News of the tragedy spread quickly through the sailing community, serving as a stark reminder of the unforgiving nature of the sea and the risks even the most experienced sailors face in their pursuit of adventure. But the tragedy did not end there. On the very same night, as the winds continued to howl and the waves remained merciless, another sailor, Nick Smith, was facing his own perilous challenge. Nick Smith, a 65-year-old seasoned yachtsman from South Australia, was aboard the bowline when disaster struck. Known for his experience and calm under pressure, Nick had participated in the Sydney Hobart Race multiple times before, but this year, the unpredictable conditions would prove too much even for him. During a jibe, a challenging maneuver where the sailboat changes directions and the mainsail shifts sides, Nick was struck by the mainsheet, the heavy rope used to control the boom and sail. The force of the impact flung him against a winch, causing devastating injuries. Crew members rushed to Nick's side, their faces etched with shock and fear. But despite their efforts and the urgency of the moment, it was no use. Nick's injuries were too severe, and he passed away, leaving his crew devastated and the sailing community reeling. Out of respect and mourning for their lost crew member, the bowline followed the Flying Fish Arctos in withdrawing from the race. According to the Royal South Australian Yacht Squadron, 2024 marked Nick's 5th Sydney to Hobart race, and tragically, it would be his last. As a valued member of the yachting community, Nick was deeply respected and admired. Condolences poured in from across the sailing world, reflecting the profound impact he had on those who knew him. On behalf of the Commodore, Flag Officer Management Committee, members and staff, we extend our condolences to Nick's family, friends, and the crew of Bowline at this tragic time. General Manager Haley Hunt said, "We express our sympathy to Bowline skipper, immediate past Commodore Ian Roberts, and further extend our sympathy to Flying Fish Arctos and their crew. The squadron will endeavor to provide counseling to the Bowline crew and any squadron members in this difficult time." There was no doubt that Nick's demise was a painful tragedy to all who knew and loved him. Bowline skipper and owner, South Australian barrister Ian Roberts, paid tribute to Nick as a great friend and a very fine and experienced yachtsman. He also went on to say the following words: "In very difficult sailing conditions, crew member Nick Smith was hit by the main sheet in a jibe that threw him against a winch. Despite immediate CPR administered by the crew, Nick was unable to be resuscitated." Nick was a very valued crew member and a very experienced sailor, having completed 4 previous Sydney Hobarts, numerous yacht deliveries, and a round-the-world clipper race yacht race. He was also a regular competitor in the Hamilton Islands Sailing Regatta. Having sailed many thousand miles with Nick, the skipper and crew of Bowline are devastated by this loss. After the tragic incidents, while this story is heartbreaking, it's not the first time the Sydney Hobart Yacht Race has faced tragedy. The 1998 race remains one of the darkest chapters in the event's history. Ferocious weather turned the race into a battle for survival, with towering waves and gale-force winds battering the fleet. 6 sailors tragically lost their lives, and several boats were destroyed. It was a wake-up call for the sailing community, sparking widespread changes to improve safety and preparedness. In the aftermath of the 1998 disaster, safety became the defining priority for the Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. Major reforms were introduced, including stricter equipment checks, enhanced weather forecasting, and mandatory safety training for all crews. These measures have undoubtedly saved lives, but the tragic events of 2024 serve as a stark reminder that the sea remains as unpredictable and dangerous as ever. The 1998 race stands out as the most infamous tragedy in the event's history, but it was far from the only one. Over time, the race has seen its share of perilous incidents. Boats have been lost to storms, and injuries, some severe. The 2024 race, marking the first fatality since 1998, underscores the persistent risks of ocean racing despite safety advancements. The Sydney Hobart Yacht Race demands extraordinary skill and determination, pushing sailors to their limits. Despite the many safety measures in place, the incidents of 2024 have reignited a critical conversation within the sailing community. Is enough being done to prevent tragedies, with many questioning whether current protocols are sufficient to address the inherent dangers of ocean racing? The discussions are ongoing, but one thing is certain: with every tragedy, the hope remains that lessons will be learned, and the race will continue to evolve to ensure the safety of everyone involved. The sea is as dangerous as it is beautiful, and ensuring that those who dare to challenge it are as prepared as possible is a shared responsibility. The loss of Roy Quaden and Nick Smith sent shockwaves through the race, serving as a stark reminder of the inherent dangers of the open water. Even the most seasoned sailors are not immune to the unpredictability of the sea, a reality that continues to resonate within the community. At the heart of the Sydney Hobart Yacht Race lies the delicate balance between adventure and safety. Sailing is about pushing boundaries, embracing the thrill of the sea, and testing human endurance against nature's most formidable forces. But as the 2024 race has shown, this spirit of adventure must always be paired with an unwavering commitment to safety. The two are not opposites. They are partners, supporting and protecting one another. The 2024 race will forever be remembered for its heartbreak, but also for the resilience of the sailing community. Sailors, organizers, and fans have come together with remarkable strength in the wake of such a profound loss. Looking ahead, there is hope that the memories of Roy Quaden and Nick Smith will inspire a renewed dedication to safety, ensuring that future races remain just as thrilling but far safer. Ultimately, honoring those we've lost means learning from their stories, cherishing the camaraderie that unites sailors, and carrying forward the legacy of this extraordinary race with respect and caution. The spirit of adventure will undoubtedly endure, but let it always be guided by the unwavering priority of keeping everyone on board safe.